Hey, my name is James Nicholson, and in this video, we're going to talk about landlords are really starting to feel the strain from the interest rate rises from Section 24 and the EPC news. So in this video, we're actually going to give you some solutions. What could you do if you are a landlord? And if you're looking to become a landlord, don't be put off by this, because if you set your business up the right way, which we'll cover in this video as well, then you won't have these kind of issues. Now, this channel is all about my investment journey, and we want to invite you along the way. And so you learn some stuff along the way. We're nearly at 5,000 subscribers. There's possibility we might just hit it in May, not in May, in April even. And so if you look around below, you can see how close we are to 5,000. Maybe you can help us get there by smashing that subscribe button and hitting the bell notification. Go on, do that right now. And also while you're here, let's get some more views on this video by smashing that like button over there as well. So, landlords are feeling the strain. Now, I know with these types of videos, there's always going to be people that go, oh, poor landlords, how terrible for them. But you know what? Not everyone is a landlord with a huge portfolio. Some people just have it as an extra little pension pot. And so maybe that is their pension. And that's a difficult scenario to be in. And you do need landlords in the market, because what you're seeing right now is 30% of landlords left in the last 2 years. And that meant that rents are rising at record rates. It's not inflation that's pushing up the rents, it's actually the lack of stock. And so if the government keeps squeezing landlords like they are right now, even more will leave, and eventually you're going to end up with half the landlords that we had in 2019, for example. Rents are going to be absolutely ludicrous at that stage. Or if they put rent caps on, more people will leave, and you'll find the market absolutely not working at all. And so landlords are an important part of the property ecosystem. So why are they having such a difficult time at the moment? Well, one's really obvious, and that's interest rates, right? And so not all landlords have mortgages, obviously. Some people buy cash. But why do interest rates hit landlords more than just normal people? Well, most people that have a residential property where you live, you actually have that on something called a repayment mortgage. I've actually done some videos on the channel about interest only versus repayment mortgages. And so a repayment mortgage, you will make a payment every month, and that will pay down some of your capital, and it will also pay the interest that's due that month. So over time, your mortgage is getting smaller. Now, as a buy-to-let landlord, you don't do it that way. Buy-to-let mortgages are interest only. So if you borrow 100 grand in 25 years, you still owe £100,000. Whereas a residential mortgage, you borrow 100 grand and in 25 years, you'll owe zero. So it's quite different how that works. Now, because of that, when the interest rates go up, it's actually a much bigger percentage of the payment that goes up for a landlord than it is for a residential buyer. And so when interest rates go from 1% to 2%, the interest-only payment that the landlord's paying doubles. And we've gone from 1% pretty much all the way up to 4.5% almost. And so that means for some landlords, potentially their mortgage deals could triple, quadruple, and that is where things really are going to be very, very difficult for a lot of landlords. So interest rates have been a difficult one. Next is Section 24. And this is a really unfair tax that the government levied, where landlords now pay tax on their income, on the whole income. So if you get £1,000 rent, you pay tax on that £1,000. Now, you might think, well, okay, that's great. You should get taxed as a business. But a normal business doesn't get taxed like that. How a normal business gets taxed is actually on the profits that they make. Whereas a landlord, they get taxed on the rent. That isn't really a fair playing field there. And so what that can mean is if you're a higher rate tax earner, nearly 50%, and your mortgage payment is half, you could earn £1,000 in rent. Half of that could go to the taxman, half of that could go to the mortgage, and then you've got left with zero. And so Section 24, a lot of landlords have had problems with that, and that's why they're leaving the market. Now, there's a way around that. And the way around that is to buy property in a limited company, right? So if you run it in a limited company, at that stage, you're then able to offset mortgage payments. You're able to do all these great things that will save you a ton of money, just as any normal business would do. So running a property for a limited company is a great way to save that money. So that's one loophole that you've got there. Another is to run your property that you own in your personal name as a holiday let. Now, that did just come up. I did a video yesterday, which was quite popular. Airbnb is potentially going to get regulated in certain tourist spots. Now, a holiday let doesn't have to be a holiday let. It can be that you're renting it out as a short-term rental to contractors, to office workers, and people like that. And that's a way that you can then offset all of the payments that you get. And then it's not classed as a rental or a buy-to-let. So running your personal properties that you've got as investments that are in your personal name as a holiday let is a great loophole. I've got another video on this channel, so you can go and check out that as well. So if you want to find out about that, look for section 24 on the channel, and you'll be able to find out how to do that. So that's for people that own a property in their own name. Now, another way around this for landlords is to run their properties as HMOs. This is a high cash flow strategy. So let's just say you've got a 3-bedroom house, right? Maybe you've got a 3-bedroom house, and that 3-bedroom house is really not making much money on a buy-to-let. Let's just say it's up north, you get 600 quid a month for that. So what you could then do is maybe downstairs you've got a living room and a dining room. You could then turn that into a 5-bedroom property, not have any living rooms, and rent it out on a room-by-room basis for, let's just say, £400 a month. That's a great way to make good money, and that's called an HMO. These are high cash flow strategies. And so landlords that are looking at this video, or potential landlords that are looking at this thinking, this buy-to-let stuff doesn't sound so good anymore. Well, right now, it is tough, particularly in the south. So look at high cash flow strategies. So you still get the property the same, but rather than renting it out to one person, you rent it out on a room-by-room basis. That's very, very popular at the moment. It's called an HMO. Next is, serviced accommodation, same as holiday lets, basically. And so that's where you're just going to rent the property out to people on a short-term basis. So get that working, and that's another strategy that can work. So landlords are going to be hit hard. These things aren't going to change. Another thing that you can do is the EPC rules. So this is for Energy Performance Certificate. These have been really hard on landlords, and they're saying that you've got to get the property up to a certain energy performance level. It was going to be level C by 2025. They've just changed that to 2028. They've also just stated as well, which is going to be a little easier, that some properties you can't get to a level C. It's just not possible. They're old Victorian properties with sash windows, for example. So those ones, if you can demonstrate that you spent at least £10,000 bringing it up as energy efficient as you possibly can, then they could be a good investment. And you can use that, and then you don't have to get it to a level C, right? And so there's lots of stuff going on in the property market. You can still make some very, very good money. My recommendation is, if you're looking to get into property investment, is you use a limited company, right? So you put it in a company rather than your personal name. That avoids the section 24. My next suggestion is that you do high cash flow strategies like HMOs or serviced accommodation. That's it from me. It's not always easy as a landlord, as you might know. Do smash the like button. Do subscribe. Help us get to those 5,000 people. Go and check out all the other content on my channel, including this video right here.